Stephanie King, District 55's Public Relations Manager. I'm so glad you could share with us for this very first virtual VPPR visit. I've heard a lot of requests from club members. They need some guidance in promoting and marketing their clubs. Now, we know that people don't usually just show up at our club meetings. They hear about it from a Toastmaster somewhere, but more and more people are finding our clubs online. That's the topic of tonight's conversation. We call it Your Club's Online Presence. Let me tell you a bit about our host. She is DTM Kathy Moore. She's been using social media websites to increase traffic to her small business for the last 18 years. What she's found is that it is cost effective, probably the most cost effective way of increasing traffic, and that is through social media. She believes every Toastmasters club needs to learn how to use these tools. Now, tonight, Kathy shares details of exactly how your club can use your website and social media pages to get new members to come in. So please help me welcome DTM Kathy Moore.
As Stephanie mentioned, this presentation is about how to improve your club's online presence. I know if you're like most clubs, you probably struggle to keep membership up. That's the best reason to be on this call tonight, because if you have an excellent online presence, then the new members will find you. You won't have to find them. And we're going to get through as much of this as we can tonight. And then we have a second evening scheduled. If you have specific questions about how to do anything, then please give us questions at the end, and we will be sure to add that on to the next presentation. Before we get started, these are the websites and resources we will be using. I will share some information that's available to you already on the district website. There are plenty of resources on the international website. However, in my own experience, I find that it's easier to search for stuff on the international website, the TI website, by Googling it rather than using the search bar on Toastmasters.org. I don't know if you have that same experience, but if you are having trouble finding things, just Google it. That's why I listed Google there. And then the next long website that you see is for the Free Toast Host website. I don't know how many of you have a website with Free Toast Host. I do highly recommend it, and we are going to be talking about it tonight. My club, which is Medtronic SA, we actually have Easy Speak for keeping track of awards and speeches, but we have Free Toast Host to let our potential members know about our club. And then probably the best social media you can use for your club and the easiest to use is Facebook. So we'll show some examples of some clubs that are doing a great job with Facebook, and I can answer any questions you have about how to do it or what to do as we go through the presentation. This is a checklist that I just came up with a couple of weeks ago, getting ready to teach VPPR at 2 of our TLIs here in San Antonio. This is something that I have had in my head for a long time, but I finally sat down and put it on paper. So this is a good way for you to see how well you're doing as a club. The first thing, but really the most important, is can people find you on the TI website? So that's where you log into TI and you go to find a club. When you find your own club, can people click on that link and get back to you? If that's one of the main ways that people search for Toastmasters clubs to join. If they can't contact you through the international website, then you've basically shot yourself in the foot. That is very important to make sure that people can get to you from the TI website, and we will talk about how to make sure that you have that information in there. The second one is, do you have a website? And it's linked on the Find a Club. You can be listed on the TI website, but not necessarily have a website. It's going to be very beneficial to have a website that is current. So the next thing in here is, you do have a website, but it's also kept up to date. That's very important. I remember last year when I was doing research, I did a presentation on blogging for the TLIs and for the conference. And one of the websites that I was reviewing in San Antonio had information that was 2 years old on their home page. That club is no longer active. The last time I checked, they had 2 members. And so, you know, you can't have an active club with only 2 members. It's very important, if you're going to have a website, make sure you keep the contact information current and that the actual activities that are being shown on the website are current. So I gave you 10 points. If you had a website, Easy Speak or Free Toast Host, or another great resource is WordPress.org. It's an excellent website. That's what I use for my own business. You can get a free website, but they also have premium sites that cost about $100 a month. A year, excuse me. No Toastmaster Club is going to pay $100 a month. But those are some options for you. Then another resource that's excellent that is free is Facebook. So I gave you 10 points if you had a Facebook account as well for your club. LinkedIn and Twitter just give you extra presence out there in the internet. They're not as important, in my opinion, as Facebook is, but Twitter is good to make quick announcements like coming soon or homecoming, and then have it go to the main page like on Facebook or the website. LinkedIn is important if you are trying to attract the business community. So it's a good idea, even if you don't have a LinkedIn page for your club, if on your own LinkedIn personal site, you list the fact that you're a member of Toastmasters Club, whatever, that also gives you extra presence online. So that's a good way to do it. We already mentioned being sure that you have current information on your website and on your Facebook, and I gave 15 points each if you had current information. The thing that's going to attract people to your site and to your Facebook page is if you have interesting, fun-looking photos with cut lines, which are the little explanations, a little sentence underneath that explains what's going on in the picture. It doesn't really do any good to post a picture if you don't tell what's going on. And it needs to be something meaningful, like somebody winning a contest, or the international speech contestant visiting your club, or the district director visited your club, or your club winning President's Distinguished. Those are the kind of things you want to be sure to include. But you can also include things like the particular topic that somebody presented in their speech. There's lots of ways you can make it interesting to potential customers, and we will talk more, potential members, and we will talk some more about unique ways to do that. I have some examples from some award-winning clubs later on in this presentation. Another thing that's very important, I believe, and there are very few clubs I feel that do a good job of this, is to talk about your unique niche in the Toastmasters world. For example, are you a club that trains the trainers? Are you a club that's unique to a specific geographic area? Are you a club that has won President's Distinguished for the last 14 years in a row? Do you have a past district governor or director as a member of your club? Those are all things that you can display to show what makes your club different from other people, especially if you are in an area or a time zone where there are several clubs. I know in San Antonio there's a lot of clubs that meet on Tuesday nights, so they have to compete against each other. So why would somebody want to come to your club versus that other club that meets on the same night as you? So those are all things that you can include in your website and on your Facebook page. Even if it's easy parking, you'd be surprised. We have some clubs that meet at universities where it's really hard to find a parking space. Those are the kind of things that people will be interested in knowing about your club. So be sure to think that through. And then another thing that gets you extra points in Kathy's world is if you have blog posts or articles ongoing on your website or on Facebook. It's really easy to post on Facebook even daily if you want to do it, but weekly at least, I would say, because Facebook, that's the way it's basically set up. So those are just some things to look at. And if you go through this, let us know what your score was. We're hoping to put a contest together soon for people to shout out about what a great job they're doing in the online world. So let us know how you did when you score yourself. So here is a good way to see how you're doing. I'm in San Antonio, so I Googled Toastmaster clubs in San Antonio. And this is what I found on page 1. And this is where you want to be. And you know you're doing a good job with your online presence if you see your club's name on this page. The very first one, I can tell you, the Guts Club. Rudy Morales Miranda was my area director last year when I was a division director. He posts things every week. They had open houses. They had barbecues. They had picnics. They had people getting awards. And so he had something out there online every single week. That makes a huge difference. Texas Talkers, I believe that's Wilma Igwe's other club. They also have regular postings about what's going on. Now, last year when I did this research, the San Antonio Sociables ranked very high. And this particular listing that I show here is from their Find a Club page on the TI website. And the people that are in that very top, the ones listed ABC, you get that way by regular postings, putting something on weekly or more often than weekly. Now, the other clubs that I see on this front page, you can see San Antonio Sociables is actually listed twice. They've been doing this for a long time. They have been focused on improving their online presence for a long time, and that also pays off in the internet ranking. You'll see that they have specific meetings listed on Meetup. So we know they're on Toastmasters.org. They're on Meetup. I believe they also have a website because that's where their Find a Club is listed. Another club that does a great job with showing their specific niche is Club 9434. They always brag about their President's Distinguished for 8 consecutive years, 9 now. So that's something that if you've got it, flaunt it. If you are a successful club, you need to let people know because that is going to attract people to your club versus another club that's not distinguished. And if you notice, almost to the very bottom on the right-hand side, there is a article. So this is not another club. This is an article that somebody posted from mysanantonio.com, which is online version of San Antonio Express News. If you get the Express News to feature your club in an article like this, you've got it made. So that's something that Stephanie is going to be talking about later on when she talks about press releases. All right. So when you're checking on your settings in TI, the first thing you want to do is log into the TI website and go to Leadership Central, and then you're going to look at club contact and meeting information. When you go there, this is my own club, and you'll see we have an inbox for our members because we use that also for pathways. We don't have a Facebook page because Medtronic would frown on it, but we do have a Free Toast Toast website. Then you just make sure that all your information is correct and current, and you click Submit. All right. I know I've been talking for a while now. If anybody has any questions, just let Stephanie know on chat, and I'll be happy to answer them. But now we are looking at a Free Toast Toast website. This is their basic format, but these are award-winning clubs that I found when I researched, who was doing a good job. The thing I like about this club, and this is not a standard page on the Free Toast Toast website, this is something that this club added, and I thought they did an excellent job. They included their member achievement. This could be winning a speech contest, earning an education award, getting a promotion at work if it's a corporate club, or even if it's a community club, or being elected to a district leadership position, earning an excellence ribbon at the deck meeting, or getting the Club Spirit Award, or announcing your club officers. There's all kinds of things you can do. You can even post your meeting results here. But the main thing is you want to make sure you show your member achievement, because potential club members are going to say, oh, wow, I'm going to get a lot of recognition if I join this club. So that is very important to have on your website. And then you'll notice the other pages that are listed. Free Toast Toast is fairly easy to use, especially if you've built websites before, but it's basically fill in the blank. But there are several resources for teaching you how to use it if you haven't. But chances are most clubs have a computer geek on their site, in their club, that can put one together pretty fast. I've been doing websites for years and years because I have a small business. So it took me maybe a couple of hours to put ours together. So it's not complicated. Now, the thing that's missing on this page is pictures. You want to make sure you upload photos, and it's fairly simple to do that on this website. This is Peachtree City Toastmasters in Georgia. Okay, this is another thing that's very important for you to have if you have a Free Toast Toast website, and that is the contact page. And there's several different ways to do it. And Free Toast Toast actually will contact you and give you, once you set up your contact page, or if you haven't set up your contact page, I was kind of slow getting ours done, and they actually emailed me and said, hey, you need to set up your contact page, and here are your options. So you want to make sure you do that, and it's a standard form, just like this one. And want to make sure it goes to an email where somebody is going to view it. There's an option of having it go to a specific person, or there's a website email that you can use, which is what we did on our website. And over on the right-hand side, I gave you the link to Free Toast Toast, but you can even Google it if you don't have this link. And there's all kinds of information on the internet about Free Toast Toast. They've been around for quite some time. Now, I mentioned earlier, keep your copy current, make it fun, but especially have something interesting on the home page. Now, I want you to look at the differences, and I love Downtown Professionals. This was one of my clubs when I was an area director, and then they were also in my division, and I have seen them grow like crazy in the past 2 years because they've had some excellent VPPRs. And they're doing a good job getting this information on their Facebook page. But notice how I said you really need to have cut lines under your pictures or on top, but usually they're underneath. This is a very generic explanation. It doesn't really say what's going on in these pictures. Now look over here at Point Mugu, and I can't remember where they are, but they're in District 33. Oh, California, excuse me. It's a naval base in Ventura County. Look at the wonderful copy that they have underneath that photo. John Michael gave us tips on how to safely camp in bear country with his third speech on the coaching path. So what have they done? They've told you that John Michaels, one of their members, just finished his third speech, and he is on the Pathways program. And then they also talk about their table topics person, Brendan Carr, who won table topics, talking about a glow-in-the-dark Casper toy. That kind of information, they're basically telling a story about what happens in their club, and that grabs people's attention and makes them say, wow, I want to be a member of that club. This is an excellent photo, an excellent copy. So that's what you want to try to recreate in your own website or Facebook page, and it's not complicated. Here's one of our local clubs. What I like here is you want to make sure you provide information about the members. I know Cynthia, I don't really know Michael, but all I can tell from their photos is Cynthia's the current president, and Michael has earned his ACB. I know Edward as well. I like the fact that he has included his own personal social media contacts, because somebody might see your information and say, well, I don't want to email the club, but this guy looks friendly. I'm going to contact him directly. All they have to do is click on that link and go to his individual site and talk to him about his club. So it's a really good idea to write. It doesn't have to be long, but a paragraph is good. Have your members tell why they joined Toastmasters, what they got out of it, and what they've accomplished so far. So most of these need to be a little more extensive. Here are some examples from a club called Eagle Toastmasters and their website, eagletoastmasters.com. I love these comments. Try to get your club members to post this kind of information on your club. I guarantee you, if your members talk this highly about your club on their member page, people will come. New members will seek you out. Take a minute and look at some of these. Dipper said it really helped her learn to think on her feet. And Amy has even been an area governor, so she's been in Toastmasters for a while. And there's 2 DTMs listed on this page. I love Oot's comment, Toastmasters became the love of my life. So that's pretty cool. And every club should have this kind of information on their website. So here is an example of the Guts Club that I mentioned earlier, because I know Rudy posts stuff every week, at least once a week. This is at Lackland, and this is what it looks like when you go onto the Toastmasters.org website. If you have a Facebook page, you can link it here, and you want your potential members to be able to click on this, email the club, and be able to send an email to you that will get through to somebody, not somebody that's no longer an officer or no longer a member. So you want to make sure you keep these links current. Okay, so here is information on how to get the most out of Free Toast Host. And as I mentioned, we are able to get this PowerPoint. I'll email it to you, or you'll be able to look at it on the website as well, on the tmd.org website. I listed some examples of clubs that I thought did an excellent job, and the Free Toast Host webmaster actually gave them excellence awards. The link in the middle is the one you click on to request a free website. Whoever is signed up, the main email on your account, on your club account, is the one that has to approve it. But once it's approved, they'll send you a link back with your new website and how to log on. And then if you go to their website, they will tell you, they'll give you examples of outstanding websites. They will show you step by step how to log on. There's written instructions, but there's also video guides for people who would rather watch video than read the explanation. And there's templates. In other words, you're not having to build it with HTML. Now, these are the resource links that are important, in my opinion, on the tmd55.org website. The first link to the left here talks about branding. You want to make sure when you're sending out agendas or flyers that you use proper Toastmasters branding. Then I gave you the demo site for Free Toast Host and the website to request a free website from Free Toast Host. There's a set of 6 detailed documents explaining how to set one up. If you're familiar with websites at all, it's not complicated whatsoever. And then just building websites in general, there's also a link here at tmd55.org, or how to build a Facebook page, which is even easier than a website. And then using Easy Speak for your website, there's a link to that on the tmd55.org. And our resident expert is Linda Oliver, and I'm sure she'd be happy to help you if you want help getting set up with Easy Speak. She helped us set up our club when we got started at Medtronic. Well, we got through that a lot faster than I thought, so we've got plenty of time for questions. As I mentioned at the very beginning, if you establish a strong online presence for your club, members will come to you. You won't have to look for them. So be sure you use the checklist with the points that I set up earlier on this document for your own club and see how you do. Let me get back to that so I can make sure everybody that joined a little bit later can see it. And then I'm happy to open up the floor to questions. If anybody's got questions or wants to go back over any of the things that we looked at, we also can look at things directly on the internet if you want to. So are there any questions, Stephanie?
Yes, we do, Kathy, have a few questions here. One
Super.
of them from Veronica. She wants to know about experience with Easy Speak. And another one that's related is you're using both Free Toast Host and Easy Speak. What's the difference?
Well, actually, we started with Easy Speak, and we specifically use Easy Speak to keep track of who has accomplished what. And I don't know, does anybody want me to like go on to Easy Speak right now and show you what I'm talking about? I can do that if you want. I mean, we have time. Or do you want me to just explain the difference?
I'm waiting for a response to that. Is there anyone who would like for her to do that? Just send me a message in chat.
So we specifically use Easy Speak to keep track of the accomplishments. Easy Speak is great at that. Now, I know there are people out there, there are clubs out there that use Easy Speak for everything. They blog on it. They do all kinds of things. The issue that we have with Easy Speak is that entering things in the system, it's really only the VPE that can do that. We set up a Free Toast Host site recently, mainly so that we could promote our club. I think Free Toast Host is really good for that reason, as you saw some of the examples in the presentation. And when you're the administrator of Free Toast Host website, you can actually set it up where 3 people can have access to different parts. So I can let 3 people have access to setting up agendas, or 3 people can have access to adding pages. So it makes it easier for other people to help keep it current when you're doing a website like that. Does that explain it, or do you want to see what I'm talking about?
Romy says, sure. Is that
okay.
Is that what you want us to do, Romy? You want her to actually go there? Because we have a few more questions here.
You want me to answer the other questions first?
Yeah, why don't we do that? Okay, let's see. The next question is from Micah. Does anyone pay for ads on Facebook or other social media or Google? He says he tried that once, not for Toastmasters, but for another club that he helped to lead. He put $50 in it for ads and no one came. That was Facebook.
No, I don't see any reason to have paid ads on your Facebook page, club page. What gets people to come is consistent, current, interesting copy with pictures. It's not going to happen overnight. It's probably going to take a couple of months. But you start posting and showing pictures and showing people how much fun your club is, you will get people to come. I wish that Sandy Watson was on this call. I doubt that she is, but she took over as VPPR at Downtown Professionals when they were really struggling with members, and I think they've added like 6 or 8 members since she took over, because she's very consistent. When she was doing VPPR, she was very consistent about posting the pictures and showing how much fun they were having. And people told them that's why we came. We could tell it was fun. That's what will get people to come to your club.
KJR says that he's found using Free Toast Host for a marketing site, like mailing list, articles, and directions, and Easy Speak as your member site for goal tracking, mentors, agenda.
Right.
That works.
That's exactly what I think. Very good.
And Romy says if it doesn't take too much time, can we go to Easy Speak?
Yes, sure. Let me close this down and bring up Easy Speak. Now I need to share again. Okay, so I have several clubs listed here, especially from when I was an area director and a division director. I'm not sure why I guess they invited me. I'm not sure. But this is my home club right here. Now see, this is what, we haven't done a whole lot to our home page on Easy Speak because, like JR mentioned, we use it for tracking member information. We don't really use it to seek out new members. So if I go into our account and we look at there is member information on here, and I have heard of clubs. I think Randolph's club uses the blog part. We just never have.
Yeah, that's my club, and we do use that.
I don't know where I lost my member tracking. Hang on a minute. I'll get there.
Kathy, I'm going to unmute everyone. There are several of us on here, but if that's all right with you, I'll just let them talk to you. So I'm opening your mics so you can talk to Kathy.
So I'm looking at my own speech progress here. But you actually, as long as you're VPE, and I don't know why I'm having trouble getting to that page, but as VPE, I actually have access to the whole member information. I don't know what I did to I was doing some updates on it, and I don't know where I put my. There should be a section over here, which for some reason it's not letting me into, that where you can actually look at your own participation for everybody in the group.
Is that because you're an administrator?
No, I was doing some updates to the look, and I must not have put it back. I don't know what I did, but there should be a section right here, right in this section where it's member management, and you go in and you can see all the speeches that people have completed. I don't know why it's got me. I'll have to mess with it to get it back to where it was. But this is what the agendas look like, setting up the agendas and tracking attendance at the meetings. So all that, oh, here it is. This is what I'm looking for. I don't know why it was disappearing. So you can look at role history, what they've done, what each member has done, what assignments they've had. This is the beauty of Easy Speak. It tracks all of that information. As long as you've listed it, then you can also see the communications chart. Now, we're still halfway in pathways and, the old format. So you'll see both on here. So this is every one of our members and what they've accomplished. And I just finished my second DTM, so if you look at mine, you're going to see it's a lot wider.
Sure.
And same with Wilma. She's our other mentor. She's just getting ready to finish her first DTM. So
Kathy,
this is the wonderful thing about Easy Speak. It
sure.
tracks everything so well.
If I may interrupt just momentarily, if
Sure.
you have some background noise, please mute yourself. And Kathy, so we don't get too deep into Easy Speak, we have a few other questions about
sure.
online presence.
Okay.
Micah, if you want to ask your question about corporate clubs, how important social media is if they have really nice site on internal wiki.
Yeah, we're at Rackspace. We have an internal wiki. There's a Toastmasters page on it. It lists. It was kind of stale, but Craig just did most of the work to update it nicely, and now it has a recent photo and some recent testimonials and some good information. So, with that, would it still be valuable to have a Facebook page?
Well, you're probably like us at Rackspace. If we put up a Facebook, Medtronic Corporate would probably call us and say, "Please take your Facebook page down." So no,
I think we
wouldn't.
get away with it, but yeah.
We're kind of funny about that kind of stuff, but a website, all the things that I showed on here, you guys really want to have, like especially the contact, the topic of what's happening in your meeting, and
just be sure to update the wiki page then with recent information. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Let the members write up something. You might even have a contest. Who can put the best paragraph together? What they got out of Toastmasters and what they like about it.
Mm-hmm. Kathy, can you give some ideas for content to use in articles, tweets, videos? And that's from JR.
Video. So Stephanie, I'm going to plug her other class. She's going to teach a class on how to put videos on your social media. When we were putting together the TLI in June, we did some advertising videos, and we had so much fun doing it. If you're going to do a video, I highly recommend videos because especially younger members, they really like to look at videos. So think in terms of doing something that could go viral, something that people would look at and say, wow, that looks like a fun club to go to. You might come up with a club song that somebody makes up. Do a little skit. Keep it on the fun side, but also depending on your club's niche. Like if you're a business and professional Toastmasters, you might have some little short videos on things that would be important to somebody in corporate America. Something that, like five sales tips from an award-winning Toastmaster, or how to land that job, from a great interview. Just little quips like that. People, if somebody gives an interesting speech, you might have them do a little snippet of it on a video and post that. a couple of months ago, I think I saw Robert Nolan do a speech. It was a takeoff on the story, The Tortoise and the Hare, but it was a corporate team building presentation. And I thought, wow, that was a great idea. So things like that I would highly recommend putting on your Facebook page or your website.
It seems like with articles too, like the ones you mentioned, that would be good for LinkedIn.
Yes, absolutely.
Especially
If you have somebody in your club that, or even several members that are really good speakers, have each one of them write a little short blog article, their best tips for improving your speeches, or something like that, and you can post those on your website to get attention. When you're working on the internet, you should think in terms of what is somebody going to type in if they're searching. So if I was searching for another club in San Antonio, number one, I would have to go to a nightclub because I work all day. So I might put distinguished clubs that meet at San Antonio at night. Think in terms of what people are going to search to find you. Clubs that meet in the downtown area, or clubs that meet on the north side, because a lot of people want to join a club either close to where they work or where they live. Make it easy for people to find you.
And Kathy, one other thing, in the future, you have another session coming up. Will there be any discussion about online meetings, for example, WebEx?
Well, I haven't even planned what I was going to talk about in the next meeting, because I wanted to see what people want to hear about in the next meeting. So if they will send us questions, that's what we'll talk about.
Okay. We have another corporate question now. Coming up in a couple of weeks, we'll have Marie Pierre Clark, who's
right
with Zachary, and she's going to give us specific information about corporate clubs. But you are also with Medtronic, and we're almost out of time, but one other question is, are you better off getting into employee newsletters and such? But you can use YouTube to post videos. Is that right, JR?
I would do all of the above. With everything I've shown you today, I would try to do all of it and do it well and do it regularly. Another tip specifically for corporate clubs, anytime you get an award as a club, or anybody in your club gets an award, if you can send it out to the entire employee group, that is a great way to get noticed. I gave this example at the last TLI where I taught. Medtronic started in April of 2016. The first year, we'd only been a club for like a month. I don't even remember. We started in April. So that very first, 6 months, I guess. That very first go around, we made distinguished. And then the next year we got select distinguished. And this year we got president's distinguished. So I wrote up a little article and explained what president's distinguished meant. And I had it sent out to the entire Medtronic population. I got 10 emails that day requesting information to join our club. So those are the kind of things you really want to emphasize as a corporate club. If somebody gets a DTM or silver or gold, anything like that, or is named chair of the TLI, you can write something up. Remember, your audience, you need to explain to non-Toastmasters what it means, because they don't necessarily understand. but I had so many leaders at Medtronic say, "Oh yes, we're going to send people to your club because we know you guys are doing a good job of teaching people how to communicate." So that's what you want to focus on, is getting the approval of the leadership, and that's what Marie Pierre will be talking about a lot.
Yes, and so I'll mention her coming up here in just a second. We're about out of time, Kathy, and I want to say thank you to you for sharing from your extensive experience, 18 years of doing this sort of thing in your business.
You know I love to talk.
So glad you have. You've given us lots of good answers. And if you want more information about ways to promote your club, we're building up in the officers corner for public relations links and information there that you can start looking for coming up here pretty soon. And also, Kathy, the way you rate your online presence, can we link to that document there also?
Well, I have it as part of this presentation, so wherever they're going to be able to look at that, then they'll have access, but we can also send this as a one page if you want.
I was thinking if it was there, then it could be downloaded and printed, that sort of thing.
I have it on a Word document.
Okay, that would be great. I want to tell you about what's coming up next week on September 4th. This session will feature Betty Van Hoy Puckett, DTM, and anybody can tell you that Betty knows how to get things done. She's hosted many successful open houses, and she wants to share with you ways your club can be welcoming to visitors. And then, of course, we hope to convert them into members. In fact, Betty's on the call right now. Betty, thank you for joining us. Also, we'll hear from you.
I am. I'm excited.
Yeah, it'd be great. And Kathy, finally, in closing, any encouragement?
That's my mentor talking to you, Kathy.
Yeah.
All right, Kathy, just as we go, any final encouraging word for our visitors on their online presence, and then we'll close.
The easiest thing for you to do to attract attention was this page that I had showing earlier. Get your members to brag about the club and put it in writing and put it on your website or your Facebook page. That is going to get you so much mileage. I highly recommend getting all your members to do this.
Okay.
And thanks everybody for coming.
Thank you so much. And I encourage you to join the District 55 Toastmasters closed Facebook group. There's lots of sharing going on there. You're able to private message me there if you have any further questions. And if I can't answer them, I'll get you to the person who can. Thank you so much for joining us for this very first virtual VPPR visit. Encourage your fellow Toastmasters to attend next week.